Task number 4, shell scripting and components. A shell script is nothing but a set of commands. Suppose a repetitive task requires you to enter multiple commands using a shell instead of entering them one after one on every repetition of that task, which may take more of your time. You can combine them into a script. To execute all those commands, you will only execute the script and all of the commands will be executed. All the shells mentioned in the previous tasks have scripting capabilities. Scripting helps us to automate tasks. Before learning how to write a script, we need to know that even though Linux shells have scripting capabilities, this does not mean that you can only make a script using a shell. Scripting can be done in various programming languages as well. However, the scope of this room is to cover scripting using a shell. The first step is to open the terminal and select a shell. Let's go with the bash shell, the default and widely used shell in most distributions. Unlike the other commands we type in the shell, we first need to create a file using any text editor for the script. The file must be named with an extension .sh, the default extension for bash scripts. The following terminal shows the script file creation. Okay. All right, so we have the flag there. This is an already created script. But now we have to just create this one. Let's follow these steps. .sh. Every script should start from shebang. Shebang is a combination of some characters that are added at the beginning of a script, starting with hashtag and exclamation sign, followed by the name of the interpreter to use while executing the script. As we are writing our script in bash, let's define it as an interpreter in the shebang. And then in bash. We are all set to write our first script now. There are some fundamental building blocks of a script that together make an efficient script. Let's learn and utilize the script constructs to write one script ourselves. Variables. A variable stores a value inside it. Suppose you need to use some complex values like a URL, a file path, etc. several times in your script. Instead of memorizing and writing them repeatedly, you can store them in a variable and use the variable name wherever you need it. The script below displays a string on the screen. Hey, what's your name? This is done by echo command. The second line of the script contains the code read name. Read is used to take input from the user and name is the variable in which the input would be stored. Here you can see the definition. We will use bash and then echo, hey, what's your name? And read the name and echo the name variable. The last line uses echo to display the welcome line for the user along with its name stored in the variable. Echo. What's your name? And then we'll say read name. And then again, echo. Nice to meet you. And then name. And we close the double quotes. Control X. Modified. We say yes. If we list it, we see it over there. And now let's say L with long format. We don't have just read and write. That's why we have to use this command in order to give it execution rights. Chmod plus X on first one. And now if we say again with the long format, we can see it. Now save the script by pressing Ctrl plus X. Confirm by pressing Y and then enter. To execute the script, we first need to make sure that the script has execution permissions. To give these permissions to the script, we can type the following command in our terminal. Now that the script has execution permissions, use this one before the script name to execute it. This is just use the script from the current location. We use dot and / before the script to run rather than typing the script name directly, because dot / tells the shell to execute the file that is present in the current directory. If you don't define dot / before the script name, the shell will search the script in the path environment variable that contains all the directories except the current one. And it will not find the defined script in any of those directories and generate an error. The below terminal shows the script in which we utilize the variables. As you can see, from the home dot / script.shell, right? And now let's replicate that. First, what's your name? John. Nice to meet you, John. Loops. Loop, as the name suggests, is something that is repeating. For example, you have a list of many friends and you want to send them the same message. Instead of sending them individually, you can make a loop in your script. Give your friend list to the loop and the message, and it will send the message to all your friends. For a general explanation of loops, let's write a loop that will display the numbers starting from 1 to 10 on the screen. First, create a name file named loop _script.share.sh, then enter the code below. Save your file by pressing Ctrl X and then yes. Cool. Now this is a really simple. Let's go again. Nano first loop.sh. Here we go again with bin bash for I in, and then curly braces 1 10 do echo for the variable. Done. Ctrl X, Y, enter, and then chmod +X first loop.sh from current directory first loop.sh. There you go. The first line has the variable I that will iterate from 1 to 10 and execute the below code every time. Do indicates the start of the loop code and done indicates the end. In between them, the code we want to execute in the loop is to be written. The for loop will take each number in the brackets and assign it to the variable I in each iteration. The echo I will display this variable's value every iteration. Now let's execute the script after giving the execution permission. And here basically is the example that we run. But it's only up to 3, not to cover more space. The output of the above terminal is cut to 3 numbers for all demonstration. However, when executed according to the script logic, it will display the numbers from 1 to 10. This is a confirmation. Conditional loops, conditional statements. Conditional statements are an essential part of scripting. They help you execute a specific code only when a condition is satisfied. Otherwise, you can execute another code. Suppose you want to make a script that shows the user a secret. However, you want it to be shown to only some users. Only to the high authority users. You will create a conditional statement that will first ask the user their name, and if that name matches the high authority's username, it will display the secret. First, create a new file named conditional script. Enter below code. Save your file by pressing wow. Okay. All right, so let's do that. Nano first conditional script. Conditional. All right, and here we go again. Bin bash. What do we say here? Okay, name, and then we store it. with a conditional if else. All right. What is your name? And then we store it into name. And then we say here, if your name equals with a string John, then we say echo welcome. Nah, I will say John Wick. Else echo no bueno. And then like that. All right. And then actually we can use this one. What is your name? We'll say Jim. No bueno. On line 5. Okay. Okay, so white space matters. And John, yeah, so for Jim it's no bueno, but for John it's basically John Wick. The above script takes the user's name as input and stores it into a variable. Studied in the variables section, the conditional statement starts with if and compares the value of the variable with the string Stuart. If that's a match, it will display the secret to the user, or else it will not. The fi is used to end the condition. Following is the terminal showing the script execution when the username matches the authorized one defined in the script. So in our case, it will say, well, consider is the secret, right? For Stuart. But here for Alex, is sorry, you are not authorized, as you can see here. Because the match is not, the condition is not match. Comments. Sometimes the code can be very lengthy. In this scenario, the code might confuse you when you look at it after some time or share it with somebody. An easy way to resolve this problem is to use comments in different parts of the code. A comment is a sentence that we write in our code just for the sake of our understanding. It is written with a hashtag sign followed by a space and the sentence you need to write. For example, let's write the script we discussed in the conditional statements section and add comments to it. Open the conditional script with nano, then add the comments starting with a hashtag sign. Save your file by pressing Ctrl F, right? The basic one. All right, so if we say like this and we go here, input from a user. Store. Check the condition, right? See how easy a script looks with comments. Comments don't affect the working of any script. A good script always has some comments. The example shown above contains a comment for each line. This is just a better explanation of its concept. However, the best way to include comments is to define them in the major and complex areas of the script. Note, other types of variables, loops, and conditional statements can also be used to achieve different tasks. Moreover, multiple lines of comments can also be added with a single comment. However, it is not the scope of this room. What is the shebang? She bangs, she bang. Ooh, baby, she moves. I go crazy. Da ba bump. I don't know why it reminds me of the song of Ricky Martin. Which command gives executable permissions to a script. Change mod execution rights, add X. Which scripting functionality helps us configure iterative tasks. Loops.